Well, the Winnipeg Jets start out the homestand the right way. They pick up a big 4-1 win over the Colorado Avalanche. And if you're watching the show and you're going, his voice sounds terrible. Well, it just kind of decided to leave me over the last hour as we watched the third period. But why not? Because Jets scored 4 goals in the third period en route to that 4-1 win over the Colorado Avalanche. First time the Winnipeg Jets have been able to pick up both points against the Avs so far this season. In the 2 home games that the Jets played against Colorado, the Jets pick up 3 of a possible 4. But, of course, the main thing is they stopped the 4-game losing streak that they came into the night on after that 4-game road trip. So, nice to get the winning feeling back in the room. But, of course, the Winnipeg Jets, it's going to be one of those things where they think, yes, we would have loved this win a little bit earlier in the year. But that's one thing I do remember from 2016-17 when the Jets rattled off 7 wins in a row to end the regular season when they weren't going to the playoffs. It's about establishing a standard and playing the way that you want to play to finish out the season, and the Jets certainly did that tonight, outshooting Colorado 44-31. Before we get into the highlights, we'll do tonight's Shife's Healthcare Hero. First, it's Taylor Baduk, a registered nurse in the emergency department at the Selkirk General Hospital. Her positive attitude has helped her and others face a constantly busy workplace. You can read more about her work at winnipegjets.com. All right, so this was an interesting one. I mean, obviously you think a 4-1 game, scoring's probably nicely evenly spread out through the hockey game. Not the case tonight. It all came in the third period. Goaltenders were sensational in the first 2 periods, but it's going to be Colorado opening the scoring. It's JT Compher getting into that middle lane and able to bury his 17th of the season to make it 1-0. Both the Johnsons pick up assists on this one. So Johnson and Johnson picking up the assists. For JT Compher's 17th of the year, as you can see, just beats Connor Hellebuck under the glove there. Makes it 1-0 Colorado. But the Jets were undeterred as Adam Lowry gets them on the board, his 13th of the season. He's now 2 goals shy of his career high of 15, which he set in the 2016-17 season. As you can see, just a little deflection there, either off the feet or off the stick. Doesn't matter. It's 1-1. And it's a big goal for the Winnipeg Jets. 2 layers of screen in front of Darcy Kemper, who is really good for Colorado tonight, despite the final score being 4-1. Jets keep the pressure up. It's going to be another point shot. This one coming from Dylan Sandberg. And in the back of the net it goes. It looks like it goes off the feet of Nikolai Ehlers and over to Blake Wheeler. But by the way Cale Makar goes down, I'm thinking it goes off of his foot. And then it gets chipped in by Blake Wheeler. That is Wheeler's 14th of the campaign. And all of a sudden it's 2-1 Winnipeg, and they keep the pressure up. They're going to end up scoring 3 goals in just over 200 seconds, and that's a big goal for number 81, Kyle Connor. His 45th of the season, sets a new franchise record since relocation for the Winnipeg Jets for goals in a season with 45. Of course, that bests the 2017-2018 mark set by Patrick Laine. And Kyle Connor shortly after this had a chance to get number 46, but just missed the net. And then Nikolai Ehlers is going to round out the scoring. His 27th of the season for number 27. Paul Stastny picks up the assist with the face-off win. You can see Ehlers just kind of pokes out. How many times have we seen number 27 do that? Able to just shed some coverage, get some open ice, and just beat a goaltender with a wrist shot. I think the Edmonton Oilers and Mike Smith might remember that one a little bit. Similar play. Either way, the final seconds tick down. The Jets pick up a nice victory over a really good team. Mikko Rantanen not in the lineup for the Colorado Avalanche. Neither was Gabriel Landeskog, who has assists or hat tricks, in both games that he played against the Winnipeg Jets in Denver. But there's a guy, Connor Hellebuck, that also had a real good evening. Like I said, it was a 4-1 final, but it really didn't feel like that the way the goaltenders were playing. They were both extremely solid throughout the first 40 minutes, and Connor Hellebuck even more so throughout the rest of the way. The Jets really pouring on the pressure in that third period, outshooting Colorado 21-16. There's been a number of times throughout the season where the Winnipeg Jets have been kind of on the receiving end of that in the third period, but they were able to turn things around and really apply some pressure. But you look throughout the entire 60 minutes. First period, Jets outshoot Colorado 14-8. Second period, outshoot Colorado 9-7. Third period, outshoot Colorado 21-16. So just a really good performance from the Winnipeg Jets to open up this 4-game homestand. They talked about the importance of making sure that they give the fans the effort and show the appreciation that they have for all the support that the fans have given the Winnipeg Jets this season. And obviously, they showed that tonight. Wanted to mention a couple things about Connor Hellebuck in this one. First off, makes 30 saves on 31 shots to help the Jets to the win. That's a .968 save percentage. But it was also his 380th game played for the franchise, which sets a new franchise record. And with the victory, he also now has 200 career wins in the National Hockey League, which is a significant milestone for number 37, and obviously a Vezina Trophy winner as well. He's got that in his resume. Of course, he's got his eye on a different trophy that he's going to possibly have to wait for next year for if the Winnipeg Jets are able to get back into the Stanley Cup playoffs next year and compete for that very trophy. But nonetheless, he's a guy that you know is going to go into the offseason, find ways to be better and come back and be ready to perform for the Winnipeg Jets. And that's just what they expect out of each and every teammate. Find a way to come back for next season and be ready to hit the ground running. So a big performance from Connor Hellebuck tonight. Let's go next door to the Matt Frost Media Center.
Connor, the scoreless through two, did you feel like there was a bunch of goals maybe just waiting to come out for your team there after the first two periods, or a little surprised maybe by the how much the offensive action picked up in the final period?
Yeah, no, I thought we played a really good game, really solid in our details, and we just grinded it out until the opportunities were there. And you know, that's the firing power we have in this locker room. We can score at any moment.
You set the franchise record tonight for appearances. Got a nice round of ovation from the crowd. So, what does that mean to you personally, and then to kind of get a nice win over a really good team on top of it?
Yeah, you know, it just shows that the fans appreciate everything I've accomplished here with them. You know, I'm glad to call Winnipeg my home these last years, and you know, I look forward to some more.
Kyle, you hit 45 tonight. How much do you think about 50?
Not that often.
No?
No.
Not even with 3 games left, and
It happens. Just approach it each game, and it's not going to change my mentality of how I approach the game. So
probably could have 50 tonight.
yeah, there's a few chances there for sure.
I think you passed Patrick Laine tonight for most in Jets 2.0 history. Mean anything to you other than just a name up top of the record?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool achievement, I guess. It's you know, there's a lot of good players that come through this organization, a lot of talent, a lot of skill. You know, so it's you know, it's even better to get a win here tonight too to celebrate it.
Connor, you train with him, you see him every day. What's it been like to see Kyle's evolution as a goal scorer, to see the season that he's put together this year?
I think that's a better question for my goaltender coach in the summer, Randy Wilson. He's the one that runs our goalie skates and brings Kyle out and gives him his goal scoring, so maybe I have a hand in it.
What have you seen from him, though, in terms of that ability to put the puck in the net?
You know, it's just an elite shot. You know, it's tricky to read, and anytime that you can be tricky like that, you're dangerous anytime you get a shot. So he's got a ton of shots, and he knows it. He knows that any second he can score, and you know, when you have a player like that, guys have to respect him, and it opens up some ice.
Kyle, you're known for your hands. What did you think of Adam's Forsberg attempt there on the
Pretty sick. Pretty sick, yeah. It was. I think he wanted to score that one pretty bad. I think we're all cheering for him. I was telling him he needs to do that one more coming from the right side. I mean, he's got such a long reach. I think he can be able to pull that off. He's obviously got the backhand 5-hole down pat, so it would have been cool if he scored that. But it was, you know, he's got some hands too and tight. We've seen it all year.
What about you, Connor? Have you seen that move at all, like just in practice, or did that surprise you a little bit what he tried?
No, that kind of surprised me a little bit because you know, we don't do shootouts too often in practice, but I feel like I got a good read on what he does, and that was really, really smooth.
Kyle, the team's obviously preparing for you. I mean, are you proud of the way you've been able to diversify your offense, the ability to score in so many different ways?
Yeah, I mean, you have to in this league. You know, you come in with a couple skill sets. You've seen it in all the great goal scorers, whether it's, you know, a shot or one-timer or what they're known for coming into the league. It's you got to develop all areas. You know, like you said, there's pretty good defenders out there too. They're going to hone in on you. So, yeah, I think I take pride in that, being able to score all areas of the ice, whether it's, you know, in my spot in the power play over there, or, you know, anywhere on the ice in tight, try to get a shot off quick. So it's something that I continue to work on every summer and, you know, want to get better.
How did you think Jansen did on your line, Kyle?
Thought he was great. He settled in real nice. You know, our team, you know, didn't get off to as good a start as we wanted. You know, they were going to come out hard, and I think he kind of reflected that as well. He got better as the game went on, more confident. You know, he was skating really well. You know, he's fast and can get on pucks, and that forecheck really good. So I thought as a line we turned over a lot of pucks, and you know, you saw it quite a couple shifts there in the third. You know, he's got some skill, pretty good backhand pass, me on the doorstep there, and so I thought he played well.
Thanks, guys.
Some nice analysis there from Kyle Connor on Jansen Harkins, who played on that line with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Kyle Connor tonight. And Harkins picks up a big assist on the goal that Kyle Connor does score, and almost had another one shortly after that. So sensational play from Kyle Connor, who just continues to evolve his game. I mean, we always, you know, a few seasons ago talking about, you know, consecutive 30-goal seasons. He's able to put those together. Now, it just seems like this year he's reached a whole other stratosphere, scoring 45 goals. And like we talked on the pregame show, a lot of it's at 5-on-5. The goal that he scored tonight, 5-on-5. And a lot of the chances that he generated tonight were at 5-on-5. And you look at the ice time that Kyle Connor pulled in tonight. He's the only forward over 20 minutes at 20 minutes and 40 seconds. A couple double shifts on some power plays. Of course, the Jets are without Mark Scheifele and Zach Sanford at this point. So there's definitely some open spots that you're able to kind of thread Kyle Connor in if you need to. So he says he's not thinking about it. Then I'll just admit that I'm thinking about it for him. I really think it would just be cool, especially given the fact that the Jets have 3 games on home ice to finish the season. If he's able to accomplish that, it's going to be something that he does on home ice in front of the fans here, and I think that would just be a real cool moment in Winnipeg Jets history if he's able to do it. Of course, he gets the 1 goal tonight, his 45th. He had 5 shots on goal. I would expect that volume to remain at that level for a number of parts of the year. He was up and among the league leaders in shots on goal. I would expect him to continue peppering shots at the net. Even if he's not thinking about it, he's never shy about shooting the puck, is Kyle Connor. 20 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time, 3:46 on the power play, 1:42 shorthanded. He almost had a shorthanded goal in this one as well. Cale Makar at the end of his shift, both Makar and Kyle Connor at the end of his shift, but Kyle Connor able to get down the ice and get a shot on goal. But Darcy Kemper was really good tonight. It's one of those things that you can't really fault Darcy Kemper on this one. 40 saves on 44 shots for Darcy Kemper, who was really good, especially as the Jets in the last, I'd say, 5 minutes of the second period, just high danger chance after high danger chance after high danger chance. There's a post hit somewhere in there, including the Adam Lowry, Peter Forsberg maneuver that nearly went in, and I think the roof would have gone off this place because of it, because it was there were chances kind of throughout the first 35, 40 minutes, some high danger, nothing really crazy, but then when that play opened up and all of a sudden Adam Lowry was in alone and he went for that move and everybody kind of got up at once because it was so close, it hit the outside of the post and stayed out. But then after that, Blake Wheeler got a breakaway chance. Nikolai Ehlers had a chance. All of a sudden, you know, the crowd really got into it, and it kind of gave the Jets a little bit of a boost going into the third period. Now, JT Compher scores to open the scoring, but the Jets were generating opportunities, so you just felt if they were able to stick to that and able to keep generating, they'd be able to do it. And I think a couple of things that Jets interim head coach Dave Lowry, who's going to be speaking shortly from the Matt Frost Media Center, is going to like about this one is that 2 of the goals that were scored tonight, and the 2 that, 1, tied the game for the Jets, and 2, gave them the 2-1 lead, were goals that, you know, they're kind of looking for. Yes, there's a lot of skill on this Winnipeg Jets roster, but on top of that, you have to be able to score multiple different ways. And what they did on the first 2 goals, bodies to the front of the net, low to high, shot gets through, and you're able to either deflect it or get a good bounce like they did on Blake Wheeler's goal off the foot of Cale Makar, and it kicks over to the side to Blake Wheeler, who's able to chip it home. So they get 2 goals like that. Then they get a couple of skill plays from Kyle Connor and Jansen Harkins. They're able to team up for one, and then Nikolai Ehlers with that absolute laser beam of a wrist shot that he possesses. Another kind of storyline throughout this contest tonight, the Jets finished with 28 hits, and I think 20 of them were probably directed at Nicolas Aube-Kubel, who threw a big hit on Neil Pionk in the second period. And then after that, it's not necessarily that there was any like pushing and shoving or anything that occurred, but it just kind of seemed that Aube-Kubel's night after that wasn't probably as enjoyable. Brendan Dillon, before one faceoff, was yapping at him pretty good, probably giving him a warning that he's going to be following him around for the rest of the night. And Brendan Dillon did do that. Just missed on a clean hit in the open ice area on Aube-Kubel, but the Jets were definitely physical on this night. They will always talk about wanting to be tough to play against. They certainly were tonight. Made it really difficult for the Colorado Avalanche. And I mean, Adam Lowry, after the pregame skate, spoke about how you defend against a guy like Nathan MacKinnon. Now, players like that, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, guys like that, they're going to get their opportunities. That's just going to happen. But MacKinnon came into this fourth and final meeting with the Jets this season with 33 shots on goal in the first 3 games. He had 9 points in those games. So clearly, the Winnipeg Jets wanted to defend him a little bit better. MacKinnon finishes at 17:02 of ice time with 2 shots on goal and a -1. So clearly, the Jets were able to do a few things a little bit better on Nathan MacKinnon, limit his time and space, number one, but also just limit the amount of looks that he is able to get at the Winnipeg Jets net. So a real solid defensive effort from the Winnipeg Jets in this one. The Colorado Avalanche have now lost 4 straight. This is the end of a 3-game road trip for them. They're going to head back home. So clearly some things that they're going to want to fix up. I mentioned they did have a couple of their big guns out of the lineup, but clearly certainly some things that they're going to want to fix up before the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway for them. They've been trying to chase down the Florida Panthers for that President's Trophy, but the Panthers now 4 points ahead of the Colorado Avalanche. Heading into tonight, Avalanche obviously not able to cut into that lead at this point. So certainly things that the Colorado Avalanche are going to want to work on amongst themselves. Taking a look at a couple other performances tonight, Dylan Samberg, 5 block shots, picks up the assist on the eventual game winner from Blake Wheeler. A couple of shots on goal as well. He played 18-12. He was paired primarily with Neil Pionk. Pionk missed a couple of shifts after the Aube-Kubel hit, but was able to get back into the game. But Dylan Samberg was just a guy that he played the bookend games of the road trip in Florida and in Carolina. And Dave Lowry said this morning he's just a guy, he's got to continue to keep his feet moving, continue to make plays. He's a guy that in the defensive zone can make these defensive breakouts quickly and efficiently. It's something that he has to continue to do. And was really good at it tonight. It just really seems that whenever he's paired with Neil Pionk, the two of them, I don't know if it's the Hermantown chemistry, I don't know what it is, but they just seem to understand each other's game. They skate with each other in the offseason. So those are two guys that, clearly have some chemistry together. Neil Pionk for himself, 4 shots on goal, 6 hits. A few of those probably at Aube-Kubel. 18:37 of ice time for Neil Pionk, who had 55 seconds on the power play, and another 1:03 shorthanded. Your 3 stars tonight were Adam Lowry, Connor Hellebuck, and Blake Wheeler, all 3 guys that we had talked about. Wheeler had a number of opportunities tonight. He was sensational. He was on the line with Nikolai Ehlers and Paul Stastny. Wheeler was in alone on Kemper twice, finishing with 4 shots on goal, and ultimately the one that does get past Darcy Kemper is one that Wheeler's just kind of able to get off the shaft of his stick and knock it into the back of the net. So for Wheeler, that was his 14th of the season. We recall, a little bit of a slower start for him than maybe he would have liked, but ever since, he plays that game against the Vancouver Canucks, I know this was a while ago, but he scored his first goal in that game. Then he gets the injury, but even after he came back, he's looked just quite solid. Feeling, I would imagine after you get 1 to go, all of a sudden it's just like no matter how many games you just missed, when you get back out there, you start to feel really good. Scored a couple of big goals for the Winnipeg Jets on the road trip as well. So clearly a guy that's feeling good. And Adam Lowry, now he sits 2 goals shy of that career high of 15. And I remember over a number of seasons, Paul Maurice is saying, like, look, this guy's got an offensive side to him. It's in there. He's not just necessarily a guy that's going to go up against the other team's best and just, hold water and keep them at 0, and, they're not going to generate much themselves. That's something that Lowry's line with Mason Appleton and Morgan Barron has been playing on that left wing for a little bit now. I think they take a lot of pride in that and their ability to not necessarily just only defend, but also come back the other way and create some opportunities. They get a big goal for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Morgan Barron played 15:44. Adam Lowry played a total of 17:57. Let's go next door to the Matt Frost Media Center.
Dave, what's impressed you about the way Kyle Connor's been able to diversify his offensive game and score in so many different ways this year?
Well, I think that's his skill set. And he's a player that can get inside and is not afraid to play inside the dots. He will attack the net, and he will score all different areas in the ice.
What's the biggest challenge for a guy like that when his number is circled on the board for each and every single game of the season?
Well, that's a credit to the year that he's having and that the type of player he is. But also a credit to how he's played this year and the consistency that he has in his game.
Did you guys think it was the 33rd or 34th shot of the night before you finally get one by Kemper, and then you get 2 more in the next couple minutes? So what do you think changed for your team, or was it just a matter of finally cashing in on some chances that you'd had?
Well, I thought we had a lot of really good chances. Give Kemper credit. He made some big saves. But I really thought that we stayed with what we were doing, with what we talked about. We wanted to get inside. We wanted to attack. We wanted to force him to have to fight through some traffic. And our first goal's it's a deflection with guys in and around the net. And, sometimes they're not the prettiest, but it's effective.
Maybe not pretty. Do you happen to think that Ehlers' boot towards Blake, do you think that was on purpose?
That might be a skill play that these guys work on. They use their feet all the time, right? And if you watch Nicky, I'm not surprised by the little things that he does, and that's not the first time he's kicked a puck.
You were talking about some of the veteran players on this team having some opportunity down the stretch here. How did you think Jensen Harkins handled the opportunity he gave him tonight?
I thought he was really good. And credit the guys that he was playing with. They spent some time with him. They talked him through the game early, and they just tried to get him to understand what they needed him to do. And I give Harks credit. He got his feet moving. He was heavy on pucks. He did a really good job of protecting a puck, making a play, and then getting to the net.
What do you see as far as Kyle and PLD are still pretty young guys? What do you see as far as leadership coming from those guys and how they've grown into that role this year?
Well, I think their play explains the type of players that they are and the value that they have. Different guys are naturally born leaders, and some guys are performance leaders, and they do it on the ice. I'm going to say Casey's not, and PL, they're not going to be the most vocal guys in the room, but they want to lead through the way that they play. And that is something, and that's maturity in the player. And both those guys have taken huge strides this year.
Dave, Connor's Hellebuck is a proud guy, obviously, and to get pulled in those back-to-back games in Florida, and then he doesn't get a chance to go back in because of the illness, so that kind of has to sit with him for a while. What did tonight's performance kind of mean, do you think, for him, and what does it say about him?
Well, it just shows you what he's all about, the type of character that he has. He wanted to be in the net tonight, and that was, he made it perfectly clear that he was ready to play. He wanted to be in the net, and he has earned that opportunity to play.
What stood out about the way you were able to contain McKinnon tonight? Obviously, he's a guy who had a ton of shots on goal in the first 3 games of the season series. He's had another great year offensively.
I just, we talked about it. The way that you have to play these top guys is you have to get into them early. You have to take away their time and space. You have to make them get rid of the puck. He's a lot like McDavid, where their speed with the puck coming through a neutral zone, the way they attack, really backs teams off. And if you can get the puck out of his hands early, and then you can take away his time and space and make it hard for him to get into areas, and then he has to play through guys. I thought tonight we did a really good job of doing that and really minimizing his opportunities. He's a star player. He's going to get chances. But I thought tonight we did a really good job of taking away time and space.
Just the Obey-Cavell hit on Pionk, I know there wasn't a penalty. Were you okay with that? Did you see that more as an accidental play as opposed to anything malicious?
Well, I wouldn't say it's an accidental play. Cavell was going in. He was finishing his check. What it did is it brought some emotion into the game, and it really piqued our interest at that point on. And, I like the fact that we had some guys that took exception to the contact. But that, the hit that's part of the game. I don't think there was any malicious intent, but what it did is it got us engaged.
Do you think that helped Pionk too? Like Pionk went right at him, in between during the play and also during one of the stoppages. I mean, when he's physically engaged, he's sometimes at his best. Is that what you saw from him today too?
Always said when we've got guys that are playing with emotion in their game, we're a very hard team to play against. And I think what it does is it elevates the individual. And it like I said, it got our group dialed back in, and what it brought our intensity level up.
Thanks, Dave.
It's Jets interim head coach Dave Lowry after the Winnipeg Jets pick up a 4-1 win over the Colorado Avalanche. If you missed any of the highlights or any of the reaction, you can also watch the archive of this show, or you can head to winnipegjets.com. All the reaction, including a really good post-game article written by yours truly, will be up there as well as the helmet presentation, always a fan favorite. We'll see you on Wednesday when the Winnipeg Jets take on the Philadelphia Flyers in game number 2 of this 4-game homestand. Thanks for watching the Jets TV Live post-game show presented by Budweiser. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.